All right, folks. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Icom IC-705. It's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And we're going to talk a little bit about operating split mode. So I did get a question from one of my buddies, and he wanted to know how to do this in an easy way. So that's this video. Let's take a look at our radio now. You can see my 705 here. And one of the first things I wanted to talk a little bit about is that it has two VFOs in it. So right now we are on 14300 on VFO A. You can see that highlighted right here. Now, if I just go ahead and I touch VFO A, I get this VFO memory control panel. When I hit AB here, I can switch back and forth between my VFOs. So now we are at 14.305. You can see that it's different when we are on VFO B. Now, I think there's a couple of different ways that you can operate split. I'm going to show you the way that I recommend to folks when they ask me about this. So let me just go back to VFO A and then go back to our main menu. And what I can do now is I hit the function button, and then you can see I have various functions I can manipulate here. And I have split off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn split on, and then I'm going to go ahead and exit. Now you can see a icon here for split, S-P-L-I-T, right there. When I go ahead and I key up, and we're in USB, and I'm going into a dummy load, so no need to panic, anybody. When I go ahead and I key up, it switches to VFOB. You can see that there, and it switches my frequency. Now, what I'll typically do is use this XFC button, and when I push this, it changes to VFOB, and then I can change the frequency here. Now, the reason people operate split mode is, let's say I'm in a different ITU region and my band plan's different. You can listen to me call CQ on one frequency, and I can listen to you respond to my CQ on another. The other one is that if you're doing like a de-expedition, or if it's like a contest station or something like that, and you know you're going to be running a pile-up, sometimes it makes sense to go ahead and split the responders to your calling CQ, so that way they can listen clearly on one frequency, and then when they transmit, it's on another. And the reason we do that is because sometimes when you have a pileup, people get a little excited, get a little anxious, and they'll continue to respond to your CQ after you're trying to hear somebody or hear a particular station. So that's kind of why folks would do something like this. And what I like about this XFC button is people say, hey, I'm going to call on 14300, for example, and you're not supposed to because it's the Maritime Mobile Net. But whatever frequency we're calling CQ on, and I might say, hey, I'm going to be listening 5 up. And so what that means is I'm going to be listening 5 kilohertz up, and we're set there for receive on 14305. Now I might say I'm going to listen on 10 up. So then I would just go ahead and I would adjust this to 14310. And you can see right here, it's going to tell me my delta when I go ahead and key up. So I'm switching, there's 14310. The other thing is some folks might say, hey, I'm operating, let's say 5 down. So that would be 295 is what I would set this to. There we go. And once I'm dialed in, I can go ahead and I can hit this lock button. And what that does is that I can go ahead and switch back and forth. And when I manipulate my VFO knob here, it doesn't change my frequency because it says the lock is on. One of the other things I wanted to quickly show, if I go into menu and I go to set, and then I go to function, then I go to split, there's some other settings here. So what we did is quick split, and so I just leave that set on. Now I can come in here and I can set a split offset, and I'm not going to do that. I don't like to do that, and the reason is somebody might say, hey, I'm going to operate 5 up. So if I set my offset here, and say they're getting QRM, and they're getting, maybe there's a net 5 up or something that's getting ready to start, and they're going to say, oh, never mind, I'm going to operate 10 up or 5 down. It's easier for me to go ahead and change it with the XFC button than to go through this menu structure to go ahead and change it. That's just how I do it. Anyhow, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or recommendations, or maybe you operate split differently, go ahead and post below, and I'll do my best to respond. Thanks for watching, everybody. Totally appreciate it.